Hi, I'm Patrick.
Hi, I'm Sim,
And
and
we're
we're
Wizard
Wizard
Core.
Core. And today we have a third, possibly permanent guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Steven.
And
I'm
we
here to talk about Wendy's spicy nugs.
and we're a trio of friends that like to talk about movies, video games, TV, music, and a plethora of other nerdy shit. Today's topic is Twilight Zone, possibly cryptids, lost tapes, and other spooky shit. Welcome, Steve. What? You like Twilight Zone as well, right? I mean, we were talking before.
Yes.
I hate you so much. You would immediately come on this and just try to fuck with me. Anyways, what's your experience with Twilight Zone, Patrick?
Honestly,
I hate you
that
so much.
it's the cough.
That
I
was
hate
the-
you
it's the
so
cough.
much.
That was a
Yeah.
real one.
To be honest, not a lot. I'm more familiar with like Black Mirror and whatnot, like the things that came out like afterwards
that's a
that I was
good,
inspired
like,
by
side.
it. I mean, we were talking. This whole topic of this episode was because of the conversation we were having before we started
that
recording.
could just be part of the topic too, because it's all in the same realm of like.
Yeah,
Black Mirror.
like kind of like science fiction horror.
Yeah.
Like
I just said-
short stories.
Well, we were talking about Twilight Zone beforehand because, as we were talking about, I'm super into. We were talking about initially like super interesting people and like actors.
Yeah, we were talking
that
about
were,
what's his face from Black Flag? I forget his name.
Henry
now.
Rollins,
Henry Rollins,
and how he
yeah.
wasn't just like an actor and like had a full crazy life beforehand.
Yeah, like
he was
he-
like in Black Flag and was had that whole life and was a writer and did all that shit and is now like a stand-up comedian and
I don't know what
actor.
he's up to now.
Yeah.
but he's been doing things for the past like 40
Yeah.
years.
And then we were just talking about like actors that actually had interesting lives and weren't just like I went to Juilliard and then worked at a coffee shop until I made it big.
Yeah, and that's how Rod Serling got brought up because
Yeah.
he technically is an actor because he narrates in the
Yeah.
Twilight Zone,
And
but
then
he's
he
more
al-
like a writer director.
Yeah, he wrote the original Planet of the Apes movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but he was a paratrooper in World War II that fought in the Philippines and had severe PTSD and used that to help write episodes of The Twilight Zone and used it sort of like an outlet, which I took
Yeah.
a lot of inspiration from in my own life, to be honest. So, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of the ideas that you, in particular, Sim, come up with, you come up with like full blown plots to like full stories so quickly, and a lot of them kind of are like, kind of like the stuff coming out of Twilight Zone and what. Not all of them. Some of them are more like, kind of like Alien-esque ideas, like Alien the franchise, or even
Yeah.
like Neil Blomkamp action thriller horror ideas, or even there's other, or even like Sam Raimi. But I think you're similar to Rod Serling in the sense of like the kind of ideas you come up with. So
That's high praise.
what's true? That's
Yeah.
that's something. I mean, it makes sense to me why Rod Serling is one of your heroes or whatever.
Yeah, my like
Inspirations.
storytelling inspirations and heroes.
Yeah. But you, Steve,
Don't look-
what are your inspirations for creating things? Because I want to.
Yeah,
Before we
you know what?
before we get into
we even get
Yeah.
started, let's go back to our episode 1. What got you into storytelling? Silence is deafening.
It's a tough one. I don't know.
well, because you're like a really good photographer and everything. Because I've seen your stuff, and I mean he's seen more than I've seen, honestly. But like you're really good at like doing all that kind of stuff, even like editing and whatnot.
Honestly, it's probably one of the only things I've ever been good at. So it's just kind of what I fell into.
Yeah.
So a lot of things I've tried like growing up, I just wasn't never good at. So I used to, in high school, I did pre-engineering, which I would draw blueprints all day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was okay at it, but then there's just no passion in it.
Mm-hmm.
And after I read like my first Sin City graphic novel after the movie came out,
Yeah.
I started practicing drawing from that. And I just really got into everything creative after that.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're really into like
Comics.
comics and graphic novels and all that, even anime, like all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. You're also into like VFX and whatnot because you were like you were showing me that thing from a while ago where you were making that you were messing around with like Mid Journey, right? With that
Yeah,
AI,
just
that like
using
After
AI
Effects
to.
thing to because you made um like a multi-layered like visual like matte painting essentially is what it really is with the AI element, right? I guess that's what you would call it.
Yeah, it was just kind of like this random concept I came up with to. I wanted to do something with science fiction and kind of practice like Photoshop and After Effects.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I wanted to make like I guess kind of like an opener for a show or anime kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was cool too because did you ever see it, Sim?
No.
Did you ever, it was like
is
a
the astronaut one?
yeah with
I
like
saw
the
that. Yeah, you
like the
showed me
space station, the space station in the back that was
Mhm.
like coming in and whatnot. But yeah, but continue, Steve, with all
Oh, I
that.
just know some of it comes back from when I was a little kid. Um, I wanted to play around with cameras just because Spider-Man did. Because he was
Yeah.
I actually wanted to be a news photographer at one point.
Because Peter Parker,
Yeah.
Spider-Man was a news
Yeah,
photographer.
when I was little.
That makes sense with your love of comic books and stuff too.
Yeah. Then I just kind of fell out of it, and because I never actually used a camera until I got older. I just thought it was just something I couldn't do until I actually picked one up.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing is, my sister is a better photographer than I am, but she never pursued it.
Mm.
I just thought that was interesting. Her photos are really good.
I'd like to see them actually. You've never talked about that before. To me, at least, you never talked about that. Like your sister being into photography or
She was in high school.
hobby.
She was like really good in high school, and then she just kind of fell off of it and did other stuff. Now she does nursing.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fits her personality more, I guess. I think maybe it was just her artsy phase, but
Yeah.
everyone has that artsy phase.
Mhm.
Black and white pictures.
Oh yeah, the black and white pictures. I remember in one of my high school photography classes before I actually got into like photography because I was always more into like video and filmmaking and stuff before I was in the military. That's when I got more into the photography side of things. That's where I actually learned more of the photography stuff. But I did do like a photography class in high school, and we did those. What are they fucking called? Not shadow box ones. The pinhole
Oh,
cameras.
yeah.
And we made one of those pinhole cameras. I thought that was really fun and like cool to do.
I never did that. I actually have a book on how to do it.
Yeah,
I just
really?
never
Did
got
you
it.
like did you actually like take real photos with them, or
Yeah,
was it?
yeah,
like,
we had to take a
was it on,
photo
like,
with
film?
them. Yeah. It's I really forgot the fucking process and like what exactly, but we had to take a photo with it, and then it because you have like you make it yourself, and then when you put it down, the light that goes in like etches it to the back of whatever fucking thing
To the film
yeah,
plane.
to the film that's on it, and so
Yeah.
you just have to let it sit there for an amount of time, but you have to like
Yeah.
make it that the project was you had to make the pinhole camera yourself and then capture an image with it, and so we had to go through the whole process of doing that, and I thought that part was super fucking cool because I've never done anything like that. I haven't done anything like that since either, so
Yeah, I think that's called making like a camera obscura. I think that's what that's called. And that's kind of basically what like old, like the original, was like slate
yeah.
where they put like the big slate in the back.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. It's just like all
Yeah.
more quote unquote modern because it has like a glass lens and like the tube funnel things for focus plane and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure yours was literally just like the front had
It
like
was
a little
box.
hole. It was just
like,
a box
It was a box with a hole in it, basically. Yeah.
Because 'Cause that's what I
You
forget-
had to keep it there for a long time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I had to leave
Yeah.
it out like the whole day. I think.
Yeah, that kind of traces back to when the first cameras came out. If you look at those old portraits from like the American Civil War,
Yeah.
those
Oh,
fuckers
yeah.
would have to stand there for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
and not move, or else
Yeah.
you get the slow shutter speed effect where it's at that ghosty blur.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And while those flashes back then were so
Well, the
Massive.
bulb. Well, the
The-
bulb
yeah.
would break.
yeah,
because
Yeah.
they
because it
had
was
to
so,
just.
such a massive.
They literally
just
had to, like,
bombard you with light.
Yeah, they literally had to just like completely surge out the bulb each. That's why in like that movie that Scorsese made, The Aviator, when he's like walking in, he seemed like they're like walking on like broken light bulbs because it's literally they lit all the photographers like the paparazzi back then. They carried like a fucking case of just light
yeah.
bulbs with them everywhere, and they would just like ditch them immediately where they were at.
That's
shit
before
like-
they figured out how to change like the sensitivity of the film.
Yeah, this is before they did like
ISO.
ASA and ISO and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of like technical jargon shit. But yeah, I know it's cool because I know like before they implemented that into cameras and whatnot, there were a lot of painters and whatnot because they would do the thing where whatever if they like set up like a little scene, they would like have it be lit like they do it outside, and they would build like a big ass dark room like wherever the scene was supposed to take place in, and they'd literally just like stick a little hole in the wall, and they'd be in the room literally like it's basically tracing. They would trace with paint and everything the entire scene, and then they'd bring it out of the thing, and it would be this full just done painting. So yeah.
I even know
But the thing is, the thing that's kind
what the
of
fuck you're talking about, man.
you don't know what I'm talking about. You never heard about that? That's what they did before that. That's
Yeah.
literally how it. That's how it got in. That's basically how cameras got invented was because they were using it to paint things. So they didn't know they didn't have anything to like put behind it to like
capture
etch
it.
itself
Okay.
into it all yet.
Yeah.
So they had to literally go in and do it themselves. And that's how like a lot of famous painters got
started.
like famous because
Yeah.
they like did that, and everybody's like, "Holy fuck, this painting looks great!" And meanwhile, they're literally just like tracing with
Yeah.
the color and everything.
So they're famous tracers.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not a joke. That's literally
I'm a famous tracer.
You're a famous tracer.
Sounds like my rap name.
famous tracer.
Famous tracer.
That's actually pretty.
That's a-
sick
that's a
rap.
good
That's
rap
a good
name.
rap
That's actually a
name. You
pretty
should
good rap
trademark
name.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, before this
I
shit.
like that. I'm keeping it.
You like that?
Yeah, you go on to fucking. Well, remember when we came up with Gentle Madmen? We went on to like that. Do you remember
That
that?
is the Childish Gambino rap
Yeah.
name generator.
Yeah.
We were like, oh no, it's the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes.
Because we got
yeah.
it from Childish Gambino. Because we were like, well, if he can do it, we'll do it.
So we literally went on there and
And
just like
we
clicking.
put all of our names in it, and then we clicked it, and it came up with like Gentleman Madmen.
Yeah.
And then we're like, that's too crazy. And so we put Gentle Madmen. And
Yeah.
that was the name of our high school production company
Yeah.
that we made like 2 things with.
Helltown was made under that, so there's that.
Oh,
it
yeah,
has it says it in there when you
Yeah,
look it
because
up.
that was still all of us in there.
Yeah.
That was
That was
before-
the last thing we did
yeah,
under
did
that.
as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, the photography thing is cool. I didn't know that you because I've never actually done that where like you build a
Pinhole?
box with
Yeah.
a pinhole.
No, it's cool.
'Cause you can still get
I'd have to go and like read a whole fucking instruction thing. I did it once,
yeah.
and
Well, you can do it with
Yeah.
you can technically do it with like like your A7 whatever, Steve. You literally get like a lens cap and just pull a hole
Oh,
in
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
and you just it's kind of dumb because it's
'Cause you have a
letting
real
dust in
camera.
and stuff
Yeah.
to the sensor, but
Mhm.
it actually looks like
You just
it's a
wanna switch
digital.
topics and talk about photography and cameras.
Talk about whatever we want.
We can talk about whatever. This episode is kind of the whatever.
I'm fine with
episode.
being schizophrenic and just popping around wherever we want.
So I would like to return to
Rod.
Twilight Zone and all that,
Yeah.
but whatever. I don't
Okay.
care. I mean,
I'm just here to shill spices. Wendy's spicy nugs.
You're a Shell Corporation.
No
Okay.
shilling.
Steve, what's your favorite episode of The Twilight Zone?
Like I don't know, just the pig one's funny.
The pig one? Oh, is it the one where she wakes up on the operating table? And
Yeah.
She's like, I'm ugly.
No, I think that's the one where it's the alien. It's been a while since I've seen that one. The airplane one's just a classic that I really like.
I know my favorite.
He's like, that
one.
motherfucker's on the plane. And they're like, shut the fuck up, dude.
You crazy.
That's the Samuel L. Jackson version of that episode.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a
like snakes
motherfucker on the end of the
snakes on a
plane.
plane.
There's a motherfucking gremlin on this plane. That'd be hilarious. I want that. Can we just remake that
This man
episode
is on a
with Sim?
plane. That motherfucker's got snakes in the engines. But no one listened to him.
The Twilight Zone edit of the snakes on a plane trailer.
Yeah.
That'd be
hilarious.
actually pretty awesome.
Just recreate the episode, but just Samuel L. Jackson being Samuel L. Jackson.
That's like an SNL skit.
Yeah.
It's like, you stupid bitch, it's right there. It's like, sir, I don't see the snakes.
My favorite episode of the Twilight Zone is the one where the spaceship lands at the old lady's house and she's like out in the middle of nowhere and all the little spacemen come in the house and they're like terrorizing her. That used to scare the shit out of me when I was little because there are all these little space guys and they come in her house and they're like tiny and she's trying to smack them. And there's no word spoken there's no dialogue till the end of the episode. It's all just nothing. And so she's trying to like survive as these like little space creatures are trying to like break into her house. And like they're like grabbing knives out of her kitchen and trying to like stab her and shit. It's like it's pretty scary. And she ends up killing all of them except one. And then the one's trying to leave and goes back into the spacecraft that landed. And then that's when the words are spoken and it's like headquarters, you can't come down to this planet. There's a race of giants down here. And then she smashes it and kills it. And then on the side of the spacecraft, it says property of the U.S. Air Force. And then it's like she's the alien the whole time. And that's one of the, the scary door twist. Yeah.
The scary door.
The scary door.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know about that. People know all the big ones, like the plane one.
Well, the William Shatner one is the most.
Yeah,
like,
the plane
memed
one. People know the glasses
The
one.
pig one.
The pig one.
The one with the lady who's like supposed to be ugly.
That's
quote
the pig
unquote.
one.
That is the yeah.
Like people know all the big ones, but if you like watch all of them, there's a lot of like really good classic ones that are. Robert Redford's in one of them, which is actually kind of like not a sweet one, but it's a very
Wholesome.
I won't even say wholesome. It's a very like
Wholesome.
thought-provoking one.
Wholesome.
It's about like death and like accepting mortality.
I was waiting for you to say wholesome again. We kept saying wholesome to you. I was like wholesome, and he was like wholesome, and I was like, so death and mortality, yes.
Yeah, so not so wholesome, just like very
Not so wholesome.
just very
Existential.
yes, there we go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Words.
Yeah. That's the whole. That's what we're doing here, Steve. It's
Steven,
words.
this is a fucking podcast.
Words.
What's your favorite? You've seen one episode.
Well, I can't remember. I think I've actually seen multiple episodes, but the
Yeah.
one that I remember the most is the very first episode of the Twilight Zone. And basically the point of I forget, basically this guy, I think he like wakes up. I don't remember everything. I think he like wakes up in like the middle of a town and there's like nobody in the town and he's walking around and like talking to himself basically. It's like he's like narrating, quote unquote, his like what he's doing, but he's just like talking to himself the whole time basically. And he starts like going insane. I think there winds up being like one other person in there or something like that. But they're like, it's something like, you're gonna be stuck here forever. And that's when I was talking earlier about. That's when he starts like freaking out and being like, where the fuck am I? Let me out or whatever. And then he runs into there's that really fantastic shot where it's like a wide shot and he's like running on the stairs and he's like, it looks like he's just gonna like run out of frame, but he like runs into a mirror and it shows that the camera's been shooting into a mirror the whole time and he didn't realize he was gonna run into a mirror. It was a great metaphorical shot for what the episode is about, honestly, because the whole thing turns out he's in like a military experiment that's meant to test, for some reason, it's meant to test like human psychology and extreme isolation and whatnot. So I think by default that like has to be my favorite episode, but I thought it was a good episode because of how it ended. Because even I, when I first watched, I was like, where the fuck is this guy? What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And then it revealed that, and I was like, oh, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Pretty good.
I have to bring up that the Twilight Zone also had 2 remake shows, and
Yeah,
by
there's a
bring
Jordan
up,
Peele
I will
one.
say they never existed, and there's only one Twilight Zone series, so they exist nowhere. Anyways,
There's a shitstorm that Jordan Peele made. What's the other one?
there was one
what
where
is the other one?
Forrest Whitaker was the. There was one in like the '90s, late '90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
It lasted like 2 seasons as well. That one was actually kind of decent. It just like no one really watched it.
Yeah, I heard this recent one was like, what is this? Like
Yeah.
the Jordan Peele one was like, what is going on?
Garbage. It's not good.
Well, Black Mirror is like the spirit, the truest
Spiritual
successor in a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, kind of.
I couldn't
I
get
mean, it's
past
more.
that.
It leans a little more into like
Technology. It has
Technology.
its own thing. I mean, you could say Black Mirror is its own thing because
It is.
because the Twilight Zone was its own thing, but then like after that there was a couple others that were like because Alfred Hitchcock made his own
Yeah.
called Alfred Hitchcock
Presents.
Presents. Then there was also Thriller or Chiller. I think it's just called Thriller. And then
Michael
later,
Jackson made one.
and then no, that was around the same time.
Did you say Michael Jackson made one?
Yeah, because it was called Thriller.
Oh. Okay.
No,
Sorry.
but Michael Jackson didn't make it. I think Steve was trying to make a joke.
Stop fucking with my mind.
Yeah.
guys.
And then there was There's 2 iterations of the Outer Limits, which is basically like a Twilight Zone ripoff.
Wait, generations of what? Say it again.
The Outer Limits.
Oh, yeah.
Outer-
Which it has the other famous kind of beginning. It's not, to me, it's not as classic as
Yeah.
Rod Serling or like saying his spiel, but it does have the like. He's like, we have control of your television. Do not try to adjust the vertical or the horizontal.
I see you there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Kind of like fourth wall ish
Yeah.
breaking.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Pay
It's
attention.
kind of like that War of the Worlds thing where it's
Yeah.
like this is
Yeah,
not
it's kinda
a
like
drill or whatever they say at the
Yeah.
beginning, and that it.
That's funny that they made the whole country panic.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was hilarious. That's fucking the best prank by Orson Welles.
yeah.
That's awesome. We
You know
didn't
what-
mean to. It's just people would join in the middle of the broadcast and they would just hear like, and there's shit going down.
So-
It's like,
Well,
oh.
apparently in the beginning of it, they actually did say that it wasn't real. But again, like what you said, people just tuned in the middle.
There's this Halloween special called Ghost Watch, and it's from the BBC, and they used real news people, and at the very beginning was saying this is all fake, and
Yeah.
like this is fake, whatever, blah blah blah.
You can't sue us.
Yeah, but people missed the beginning like 2 minutes of that broadcast and like joined in after, and it was like one of the most panic-inducing things that people were watching.
Yeah.
The like story behind that, it's basically considered like a horror classic now because of that story, and it's like a found footage movie. But they were like, this is fake, using real like anchors and stuff like that. But they go to this house that's like haunted, and they like fuck around, like they're getting like haunted and shit's happening. And people thought this was like half the fucking country that it was shot and thought it was fucking real.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I thought that was. I've been meaning to watch that. Actually, it just had a recent Blu-ray release.
Oh.
Actually,
Is it like a full movie?
Yeah, it's a full like
okay.
movie. It was like a broadcast special.
That's this topic is reminding me of when Corridor Digital released the Bosstown Dynamics thing. Y'all know about that?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So, so you know how like
Yeah.
Boston that was a repeat of like what we're talking
Because
about
you know
here.
Boston Dynamics is the company.
So like they
that-
released like
the droid where they're like fucking
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
droid
yeah.
and,
and
stuff.
so
yeah,
the
yeah,
VFX
yeah.
apparent and they were especially they're still good. The VFX was good enough. I mean, the entire time in the lower like left hand corner it says Bosstown Dynamics, which is them being like this isn't real basically. But for
Just
like
Boston
it even
Dynamics.
even fucking Joe Rogan talked about it. Like
Yeah.
he was like legit fooled for a second, and he talked about it on his podcast. And Corridor talked about it, like we made it on Joe Rogan unintentionally. And apparently there was like a whole online thing, kind of like what we're talking
It's
about.
when they were like fucking with the one like
yeah, they were like messing with one of the.
robot,
They were. It was
yeah,
supposed to
and
be like.
making it like shoot and
Yeah.
shit, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like we're testing. It was supposed to be like secret quote unquote footage of them like testing one of their like more humanoid AI robots.
Yeah.
And at the end, it like
yeah, because in the
grabs
video
a gun.
they smack him up and they kick him on it and they knock him on.
Yeah,
his
they're
ass.
sending him through like a little gauntlet thing that's like
Yeah.
meant to like test its.
Because then they try making him shoot at the. This didn't make it in, but well, at least the Rogan part was them giving him a gun and telling him
Yeah.
to shoot the robot dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then he takes the dog and he fucking runs off into
Yeah.
the
But it kind of looks CGI. Though.
It looks.
It does,
It
but
looks good,
for
but-
initially it does. Like when you're not, if you don't know, it looked. They actually did a really good job.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
I
actually did a
watched
good
it on
job,
Corridor first because
Because I've rewatched
That-
it since, and it looks
did they
really
post
good.
it on Corridor first, or did they post it at
They
something else?
they posted it as its own thing, like on their normal channel, not like Corridor Crew or wherever like
Yeah,
VFX Artist
but-
React is. They posted it where they post like their actual short films and whatnot. They posted it there first.
Yeah, so when they posted it there amongst their other shit, right? So it wasn't.
Yeah, but it was
like-
one of the. But they talked about this. It was one of those things. They've always had issues where like people will repost their stuff without crediting them.
Yeah, so
Or
I
they'll
think
go
I
in, they'll
watched
cut
it.
part of it.
I
and
think
then
I watched
submit
it on their channel first, and that's why
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, cool! This is." Because I remember seeing that
Well, same.
video and being
Yeah,
like,
'cause I wasn't
okay,
fooled
cool.
either. I
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, I
watched the episode and they did a cool behind the scenes
Yeah,
breakdown.
I think
there.
Because like we
was-
follow them, so we knew.
Yeah, I think
But if
I
you're
was
not in the
with you.
community, then-
yeah, because I never knew that went around the internet as like
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it
'Cause
did.
It
I
was a
watched
thing
that
for
with
like
you.
3 days.
Yeah, I watched that with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, that's another Corridor video. I had no idea this was just people
yeah, but
were like,
people
oh my
cut
God.
like a couple little parts.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
put it on Instagram and all the other shit.
Yeah, and
'Cause
like
we have-
Facebook and whatever.
Yeah, because we have attention
Oh,
spans of
I
fucking
could totally
goldfish
see
now.
some fucking like some fucking 70-year-old boomer type, but like Martha, oh God, what is this fucking AI is taking over?
AI
and this
is
was
scary,
before
though.
like Chat GPT and everything too.
Yeah.
So
This
like,
was like 2018, 19.
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
it was right before COVID, I think.
Yeah.
It's like 9/11. There's pre-COVID and post-COVID at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's some Black Mirror shit for sure, though.
Yes.
I just don't like that shit.
You don't like Black Mirror? Was it the like BBC
Me?
stuff that was like turning you off of it, or
This is
what?
the first episode. and
Yeah, it
it's-
was the BBC
the pig
stuff that was
fucker.
turning. Yeah, the
Like, I
pig
just don't
fucking.
like-
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the BBC.
I've
That
seen
was
a couple since then,
Yeah,
and I just was
The-
just not.
you
There-
gotta get past the BBC.
I just
When
wasn't
Netflix-
impressed after a while. Like
when
I watched a
Netflix-
couple after that
Yeah.
because people kept telling me, "It's like, don't fucking stop after the first one. Just keep going." And I tried, and I was just.
I
It's
think
not my thing. I don't know.
you might remember this, Sim. Do you remember the one that that has that one actor? It was like the first thing he was in that actually got him on the map. I forget his name.
Toby Kebbell.
No, well,
Wyatt
him
Russell.
too. No, it's the
Oh, the Daniel Kalu.
The one that-
I
yeah,
don't know how to
yes.
say his last
Yeah,
name. I'm
Kal-
gonna butcher the
yeah.
fuck out of his name. The guy from Get Out and no.
yeah.
Daniel
Do
Kalu.
you remember the episode? That,
Oh,
that
he
episode?
plays like a Mortal Kombat character. and
No,
he's in-
that's Anthony
no, no, no,
Mackie.
no, no,
That's
no,
way
no.
later.
That's
No.
like that's one that starts going kind of dumb.
No, that's the
Yeah.
one where he fucks his best friend as the Mortal Kombat. No,
Yeah.
that's a later
Okay.
episode.
That was
This
a
is the
was a
one-
dumb episode.
That's the one where he's like with the girl, right? And
Yeah,
then-
so they're in that
yeah.
one was actually like a good dystopian.
Oh yeah, the social
Yeah.
credit stuff. And all
Yeah,
that,
that one was
yeah.
actually really. I really like the scene where he's like in.
Okay, what social credit one are you talking about though?
Oh well, there's okay.
Because there's two
I-
social credit.
There's this one's the
episodes.
this is the first
The one
one.
with the guy from Get Out. I remember seeing.
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
with
okay.
This is the
yeah.
first one that they do, but it's not strict. Cause so the one with Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard,
Yeah.
that one was more about like social media and whatnot.
Mhm.
This one was more like the entire society is based around. It's kind of getting into like social media and
Yeah,
whatnot, but it's
then
not
he-
as like.
But then he wants
it's
to kill
darker.
himself because the girl got taken away, but
Yeah,
that
so-
gets views, so then he utilizes
Yeah,
the,
the
killing
it's-
himself speech.
Yeah, it's basically a commentary about like when you get famous, how you like a lot of people leave their morals behind for the
Yeah.
sake of not just money but also like peace of mind,
Uh-huh.
essentially. because at the end of that episode, he like has the piece of glass. He like, kept that piece of glass that like he when he was actually serious initially, he
And then he does
keeps
it
it in like a
over, yeah.
case, and he like posts on social. It's like was it controlled opposition type shit?
Yeah.
Where he puts it in like a little pedestal case thing and closes it, and he's living in like a mansion in like the forest, and it ends on a shot of him like in front of like a big glass window looking at like a kind of foggy green landscape. So it's like he escaped, but did he kind of thing?
Yeah.
That one was really good because that whole thing was really tight. That story, I thought.
Yeah. I like the one with Wyatt Russell a lot. The one where
The horror house one.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, we made a video game that connects to your mind, and it's like finds out what truly scares you.
Yeah.
And it's like it's supposed to be like surface level fears, but then it like goes even deeper. And
Yeah.
it's like shit that you're actually scared of, and it starts
And it's like your
fucking-
mom beating the shit out of you. Or
Dude,
something.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's like his mom's like disappointed in him, and it's like his dead mom. It's like gets real fucked up, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of the concept of that is terrifying.
Well, and also the way that ended was really interesting too, because you realize that the entire like from the second it was like turned on, and everything that happens like from his perspective and everything in the episode, you learn that like all of that episode have you seen this episode, Steve?
No.
Should I? I'm
I don't
about
give a
to
shit.
spoil
I
it. Do you
don't
care?
I don't.
So you learn that when it's set up in the beginning that like you're not supposed to have because the technology that like goes on your head and everything is
they
like
like drill
experimental.
it in, right, or something.
Yeah, there's something they have to implant into you, and then you put another thing on that's like external around your head, and that like creates the visualization in your mind, basically that you're seeing. So, but the thing is that the technology is still like in its experimentation phase, and you're not supposed to bring in like cell phones or whatever from the outside, and he brings it in, and at first they actually like I think they included it like when he was in the thing. Long story short, you realize that when he puts it on initially, everything that like you witnessed, like the horror house stuff, everything happened in the span of like 2 seconds in real life. Because his phone, he gets a text from so he brought up the estranged mom thing. He gets a text from his mom, like as soon as it starts, and it causes it to like cause a brain aneurysm in his head, and everything that happened in the episode happens in that 2 seconds, and he just dies. And the reason he was killed is because his mom texted him. It was honestly really dark, but I was like, oh fuck. Like that was kind of sad. Like damn. And then what's even worse is that because before he went in there, he signed like a little contract thing. So they basically like tell his family some bullshit that wasn't actually how he died, kind of thing. And remember, the woman is like freaking out because she's like, "Oh fuck, he brought a phone in! Oh no!" And he just like dies, and she's like, "Oh," she's like calling her boss. She's like, "He
We
died."
got another one.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, another one fucking died, basically. It was a great episode. I thought that particular element of it, I was like, that was
I
dark
love that.
and really good.
Yeah, I love that.
The link
episode.
between sci-fi and real life is getting kind of.
Especially now with like ChatGPT and everything, it's
Yeah,
getting
I mean,
a little.
the one episode you just described was pretty much. I know
Neuralink.
Elon's working on Neuralink.
Well, because there's that guy that have you
I'm
seen?
fucking with any of that.
I'm not-
Essentially,
bullshit.
he wants to put a chip in your fucking brain.
Yeah, no. Fuck
Well, yeah, because there's
shit.
that one like I think like I don't know if he's the first. He's the first guy that publicly is saying that it worked. He's like that disabled guy. Have you heard? Have you either of you?
I
seen
think
him?
so. I mean, that's the scary thing about technology is a lot of it starts off as good and then it turns bad. Like
'Cause,
this
like,
would be great for like paraplegics.
Well,
to
because
be
this
able to-
guy is like a paraplegic, and he's
Yeah.
like, I can now like
But then it's
actually
gonna get to
use.
the point where these fucking companies can like subliminally fucking actually control people.
Well, then it starts getting into like
It's like,
Blade
buy
Runner.
more Nesquik.
Yeah.
Nesquik is good.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hey
it's
guys,
it's
good.
I want to buy Nesquik. Really? I would like to buy
No,
it
then you're gonna
too.
wake up to like 30 minutes of ads a day.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's
I'm
like
gonna
trying
be-
to take a shit and there's
Everybody
gonna be a
talks
fucking
about
ad in
that
there.
it's gonna be some like Blade Runner shit, or it's gonna
No,
be some.
it's gonna
like-
be idiocracy.
It's gonna be idiocracy. That's the sad part
It's
of
not
it.
gonna
It's
be.
not gonna be.
It's not gonna be like
cool.
us fighting the man. It's gonna
No,
be like
it's not
I'm
gonna
gonna
be a
wake up and take
cool-
a shit, and there's gonna be a buffer of like
Yeah,
bullshit
it's not gonna be
commercials.
cool. You're gonna wake up to like a
Hello,
30-second
Steven.
ad that you can't skip every day. It's like
Yeah.
your morning rough. Think about Advil.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna
Steve,
be.
do you feel like shit today? Here are some happy pills.
Yeah.
I
Well,
noticed
then
you
it
took
turns
30
into-
minutes on the can. Would you like this? It'll clean out your bowels.
Well, then it turns into Brave New World at that point as
Yeah.
well. But it's also like that joke in Futurama, like in the first season when Fry is like getting used to being in the future, and he has like a dream, and in the dream there's an ad.
Yeah.
And he wakes up. He's like, He's like coming into work. He's like, I had a dream about like an ad for something, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And he's like, there's ads and dreams in the future. And they're like, yeah. Because they're all like fucking, they've been born into this shit. They're all, I really love, speaking, we need to stay on this, but I love in Futurama, like the first couple seasons when he's still getting like used to being in the future.
Yeah.
The fish out of water elements in that first like 3 seasons are like fantastic. But anyways.
Yeah, but that's what I think about stuff. It's not going to be cool fighting.
It's going to be
Skynet
Idiocracy
shit.
mixed with Wall-E.
Yeah, basically.
We're going to be a bunch of fat asses going around scooters.
It's true. We're going to have like hover scooters with like ads in our brains.
Yeah, just there's this really funny I don't remember what his name is, but there's this funny kid, this redheaded kid on like Instagram or something. I think his name is like Big Red or something like that.
Those things aren't real though.
What kids?
Gingers.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we have AI video now, so of course. But the point is he makes like a Neuralink joke, and he's like
Have
saying,
you seen those AI videos? Sorry, no.
Which
you
ones?
Continue. The ones that it's like this but AI, or they like recreate movies with AI stuff.
"Oh yeah,
It's
and it looks not good."
It's something like simple where they make like Thor eat a chicken nugget or some shit. It's really fucking weird, but it's like strangely still in tune with like the movie.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, that
side
comes back down to
tangent.
the Wendy's chicken nugget unofficial sponsorship this podcast has now. The
Nugs.
spicy chicken nugs.
The Nugs, the new saucy Nugs from Wendy's.
This saucy nugs. They give you the
Nazi nugs? Steve! Not the Nazi nugs! No, there's like this joke this kid makes. He's honestly, I've watched some of his shit. He's actually like really fucking funny for his age. He's in like middle school, but he did like a Neuralink joke where he's like, when you're like waking up in the morning and like your Neuralink like defects, he's like going about his day normally and he just like hard cuts to him like having an aneurysm on the floor and shit like that. And it's playing the audio of like an ad.
J.G. Wetworth, 877 cash now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
877 cash
Don't finish
now.
the song. We don't know if we can earn the right for that song.
Shit.
Steve.
We're
God damn
Jay.
it.
No, I'm just, yeah. It's what is it? It's
You're on
on
the podcast one episode. We already owe money to people.
we got a copyright strike for 3 seconds of the J.G. Wetworth song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's all right. I'll just go to barksdalesitrust.com.
Oh Jesus.
That's a deep cut.
That's not even a deep cut. Nobody even knows. It's an inside joke.
I
There's
know.
2 different things.
I don't want to let people inside of the jokes. That sounds.
You're like, that sounds. Yeah. I agree.
My
Steve.
joke. Only like 3 people know the joke.
So you
And
know-
they're in the room right now.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't even know what the joke. He
Yeah.
does. I'm not one. I'm not even one of the 3.
Guess what? We're the only 2 people. Oh no, 3 because of who? Jeremy?
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't count.
He's not a real person.
He's not a real person.
What?
No, I was just gonna continue on the black. So, what was your favorite episode? Was your favorite episode the?
A Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've
burped
seen
and
a lot
coughed
of.
at the same time.
I've seen a lot of the episodes of Black Mirror. I've kind of fallen off of watching it.
This
that
recent season was pretty trash. The only good the good episode was the one with Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul. I liked that episode because it was dark. It got real fucking dark real quick. There is an episode where Netflix gets super meta, and I didn't like it. It took me out of it. Michael Cera's in it for like 2 seconds. It was really bad.
Was he being all awkward and stupid?
Yeah, he was being Michael Cera. Exactly.
Well, there's also the sentence I'm about to say is going to be weird, but it's true. I really liked of Black Mirror, I liked the pedophile episode.
Jesus.
Was it the what one's that
I was
called?
gonna wait for it. I was gonna wait for something. I really like the Hitler episode. Hold on, give me a chance to explain.
Yeah, hold on. No, but it's that's what it's about.
Isn't
it's about
it like Chase the dance something?
yeah, like they don't reveal like what's going on until like the third act.
Hank the DJ's the dating app one. Which one's this one called? It's called like Chase something, right? Or
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but
that
it's
one
basically
is good.
it's the one that introduced that
but-
good actor.
Yeah, but you don't know it's a pedophile episode
No.
until that's
The
the
very
twist
end.
of the episode.
Yeah.
Is you think he's just kind of a kid that's like stuck in a bad situation.
Yeah, you think he's basically just being blackmailed for looking at like porn.
Yeah.
Which he is.
Yes, but
And
it's not just
It's not
porn.
just porn. But he also gets involved with like, well, the reason he gets involved with this other guy who also is a pedophile is because the people blackmailing both of them make them like do something together. They send them on like a little scavenger hunt thing. They're basically fucking with them the whole time because they are like making it seem like, oh, like we'll release, this stuff. And the only way that we won't release it is if you
Do
go
A,
on,
B, and
do
C.
what we demand. So they both join.
Don't they make him like rob a bank or something?
It's something like that. But the thing, well, yeah, they do.
They
But
make him one of them rob it, and the other kid, the main kid, is like the getaway driver, basically. Yeah.
But the point of them, of like the people that, so the people that are blackmailing them, obviously they knew that they were pedophiles and whatnot.
Yeah.
And because of that, what they tricked them because they make them do that in order to get the police on their tail in the first place. And then at the very end, they basically are like, haha, fuck you. We're not deleting this.
Yeah.
And they just leave both of them
Yeah.
wherever they were at, and they're just fucked.
Yeah, but-
so the police
So
are
they
after
kind of
them.
portray the whole thing as if like the
But-
guys
yeah.
are the good guys.
The good guys, and they're
being
really
screwed over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're
it's one of those.
It's one of those episodes.
But yeah, no. So the main dude is. They show the video, and it's him like getting ready to like masturbate to porn.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, he's like embarrassed and like he
Yeah.
doesn't want that video to leak, and it's not. And so he's doing this stuff to like not get that video leaked, and it's not revealed to the end that he's
What he's actually doing it
is
to.
kiddie porn.
Yeah. And
That's when you realize, oh, you felt bad for the bad guy the whole fucking time.
And the fucked up part is you also felt bad for the other guy, but with him, he wasn't just looking at child porn. He was also specifically messing with his daughter.
Yeah.
His underage daughter too.
Yeah, so like,
And there's a great scene. I mean, it's horrifying. But there's a great scene at the end where he comes home and the blackmailers texted the videos and shit to his wife, and his wife is just like screaming upstairs, and he's like down there by himself, just like reeling over the fact that everything's come out.
Yeah.
And then the
and
very
the
final.
dude that's messing with his daughter is played by Bronn from
Yeah,
Game
he's
of
in
Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in the end of that episode is the other one, the kid, the younger guy, he was like a teenager.
Yeah.
He like
he looks like 1920.
yeah,
or
he's like
something.
late teens, early 20s at
Yeah.
most at the time. But he like he's in like the middle of the forest, and the cops, I think because the way that they tell him, his character specifically, there's like a drone that comes in and it has like a little like note written on it or something, and it basically says something like "you're screwed" or whatever. And then because what they did is they know where he is because they have like the GPS on the drone. First of all, they also have footage of him, so they call the cops and let them know that he's there basically. So it's like nighttime and it's like raining or something like that, and he's just like walking down the road like towards the cops or something like that, and he's like already traumatized from like everything that just happened with like robbing the bank and everything. But on
Didn't
top,
they like kill somebody or something?
yeah,
I haven't
they
seen-
make them do some obscene shit
Yeah,
in
I
order to
haven't
get
seen
them
this
caught in the
episode
first
in
place.
a while, so
Yeah, and
I just remember that twist at the end and being like, oh fuck.
yeah, it was
I definitely like when they subvert expectations.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good. It's horrific. It's
Yeah.
actually horrific.
No, yeah. There's a couple endings in that show. What was the other one? Crocodile? The ending to that one, I was like, oh.
What happens in that one?
Fuck. It's the one where she committed a murder, but everything can be seen through like eyes, recorded through eyes, and she committed a
Oh.
murder, but the person she murdered, their baby, was in the room, and so it's revealed later that she killed the baby as well because
The
the
baby saw.
baby like saw her do it, and it's like, but the like reveal and the twist of it, you're like, oh, that was another one where you're like, fucking A.
You know what's another great episode is it was like a holiday special with John Hamm.
Yeah.
Where that one's also really horrifying because the AI incubator stuff.
Yeah.
That was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Have you seen that episode, Steve? Oh my god, it's horrifying. So there's like a more overall plot that I think you may remember better than I do. But what I'm specifically talking about is like John Hamm.
At the end,
mainly. At the end. But John Hamm plays like this like he's like a scientist essentially, but he's more like a weird like interviewer kind of guy, and he like in this company, I mean, and he like goes to, so it's set up like in this world, like people can basically this company does this thing where they inject something into your mind, like into your head. They inject it in and like does like a brain scan thing for like a week or two. And then they take it out of your head, and what it does is it creates like essentially like a generative AI of you, basically, and it's like in this thing. And I forget exactly what they do like with it, but the point of doing it is it's supposed to make this like version of you that becomes like a home helper type thing. But the thing is, the way that they like get the AIs to do anything, because when they make them, it's essentially making a copy of you, like verbatim. So when, from their perspective, it's as if like all of a sudden, like you're like living your life, and then you're all of a sudden like in like a white room that's like a fake like computer room from like your perspective, right? And you just wake up and all of a sudden you're like told like you're an AI and this is going to be your job from now on, and if you don't comply, we're going to make you comply. And the AI of the woman is like what the fuck were you talking about? I'm not doing this. And John Hamm's the one telling her that bit of it, and John Hamm's like, okay, and he just like shuts the thing off, and the AI is in this little like white like just like small computer thing with a timer on it, and it like goes, it has like a month, like a year, month, like day, seconds kind of thing on it, and he sets it for like a year, and it like from his perspective it's only like maybe like a couple seconds, but when he clicks back onto the AI, she's literally been stuck in like a white void by herself for an entire year, and she's like she looks all like fucked up, and she's like, you know, like when he finally comes back on.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point, and the thing is like they don't age, so he can just keep doing this and doing this and doing, and he does it like 2 or 3 more times, and he ups the time every time. That it's horrific, but that's just the setup for like what happens in the rest of the episode.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's one of the best episodes of the show.
Yeah.
It was a great episode.
I treat Black Mirror like I treat Robot Chicken, which is
That's a comparison.
No,
Right?
I get it. I mean,
I get it.
there's good ones and bad ones.
There is horrible episodes.
Oh, for sure.
There's good episodes, and then every once in a while
They just make
there
it
is
fantastic.
some golden fucking nuggets that are like, that was perfect, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that episode's one of them.
Yeah.
Like the John Hammond, the holiday special episode, I was like, when that episode ends, I was like, holy shit. They did so much in that episode. Like, that was like a perfect sci-fi story.
No, yeah. But there's some episodes of Black Mirror that are just, and I'll say this about Twilight Zone, too. I've seen that show all the way through, like,
There's some that are just
2 or 3 times. Yeah, there are some that, there's even one whole season that Rod Serling was like, yeah, I hated it. It's when they try to up it. I think it's the 3rd or 4th season. The studio was doing so well. The studio was like, "Why don't we make it an hour episode?" And even Rod Serling's like, "I don't want to make it an hour. We can do this all in like 30-minute episodes. That's what I made it for." And they're like, "No, we want an hour." And Rod like pretty much like doesn't like that whole season.
So when a studio gets involved, the show doesn't get better?
Yeah, no.
Or movies?
Oh no.
This was like fucking
Wow.
70, 60, 70 years ago when this was happening, and it's still the same bullshit now.
But there's some fucking garbage episodes of Black Mirror. Like the Miley Cyrus one. Did you see that one?
I heard about
That
it.
one's trash.
The little AI robot thing
Yeah,
that she's
for
voicing.
whatever reason they thought that was a good idea. It's basically like a kids movie as an episode for whatever the fuck reason.
Well, there's also this is a good episode. The one we brought it. Woo.
We got ourselves a
We're
speed
recording
racer.
this next to NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're recording this next to a NASCAR track outside.
NASCAR
Yeah, it was like
NASCAR is not a sponsor.
NASCAR's not it, but you know what is a sponsor? Not really, but
Still. But not really. It's the Stasi.
Stasi.
That sounds like Nazi sauce or something.
You always, why do you keep bringing it back to Nazis?
Stasi?
Well, I brought it up
Stasi,
first,
doesn't it?
admittedly.
Stasi, let's get some saucy nugs, Stasi.
Yeah, get us saucy nugs. Stasi nugs.
But
Well, there's that one. This isn't a bad episode, but it's like it's an above average episode. It's the one with Bryce Dallas Howard and the other social credit score system one.
yeah, that was okay.
It was like fine.
Yeah,
It could
was
have been
good.
better.
It was one of those that like mid-range episodes.
Yeah. It was the concept was interesting at least, where it was like it was social credit score, but it was through the lens of what's kind of really what it's like in real life now, unfortunately. But it was more like a social media popularity score.
Yeah.
But it was like, so everybody's trying to have like a perfect life on
Yeah.
the outside, and Bryce Dallas Howard is like trying real fucking hard in order to get it, but she
keeps
as a
getting
person
downvoted, yeah.
she as a person just like doesn't really want
Gel.
to do that,
Yeah.
but she's trying anyways, and eventually she just kind of like at that wedding scene at the end, she's just like, you know what? I fucking hate all of you people. I don't want to live, my life like this. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Why is she freaking out? And she's like having her whole little thing. And she's right. Like, why the fuck would anybody want to live your life like that?
Yeah.
Like at the whim of other people's opinion like that. It's fucking insane. to that degree, it's like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
So that was good about the episode. It was executed fine. I'll say that.
I mean, it was another episode. That was around the time that Netflix picked it up because it was BBC for
Like the first two seasons.
2 or 3, and that's when it was only like 3 episodes, and they were all ended just
It was really dark.
dark.
As crappy as BBC is, they do produce some good stuff, right? And then,
Well, yeah, because like the first couple. I mean,
well, you
I
didn't
like
the pig fucker episode. That was BBC.
yeah, I mean, go figure.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Netflix is
British
when it's.
humor.
I thought the. Yeah, that episode was actually supposed to be hilarious.
Yeah.
You didn't laugh.
You didn't laugh? That was a comedy. It didn't get dark till Netflix picked it up.
You don't like dry humor, Steve.
Let's talk about biscuits.
Down at the
Hey
old-
there, my name's Dingbat Dinglesberry, and I really enjoy tea. Well, I spilt it on my aunt. That's what that is to me.
Is that what all British comedy is to you, Steve?
Hilarious.
It's like some Mr. Bean shit.
And
I like
Well-
Mr. Bean, honestly.
So I dropped my pocket on the sidewalk. Oh.
I don't know why you don't think that's hilarious, because that's funny.
It's because I said it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's because Steve said it like that. That's why it's funny.
But I just like anthology sort of shows like that in general, especially if it has like a sci-fi horror twist to it.
Yeah, sci-fi is probably my favorite genre.
Well, because Love, Death, and Robots is kind of also in that anthology thing.
Yeah.
But
But
Love,
you
Death, and
don't like it as much. as we
Love,
do.
Death, and Robots has way more misses than it has hits, in my
Really?
opinion. Yeah,
Yeah.
How many seasons have they done so far? 2 or 3?
Three.
they're working
But
on the fourth one.
They broke. So this is where I have a problem with
When they
Netflix.
split it up.
They split because the first season was like 18 episodes,
So
I think,
good.
and then the second season
It was like
was
7 or 8.
8, and
It
then
was way less.
and then the third season was 8, which meant that they basically had a full second season broken up into two more seasons, which
Yeah.
I thought was a bit of bullshit.
I wonder if I honestly think it might have been like a budget thing.
I still don't understand the giant one.
The one where they're on the beach
I fucking
and everything.
hate that one.
I don't
hate that
fucking
one.
get it.
I don't get it either, Steven.
12 years later, and I still don't get it.
Has it been 12 years since that episode?
No,
Nah,
it
just
has
pick a
not.
number to
He picked a
exaggerate.
number because we made the 12 years joke for Boyhood. The
Well,
12
Boyhood took 12 years to make.
Yeah,
Did you know
we
that,
know.
Sam?
Yeah, I did. I knew.
Did you know that, Steve? Did you know that Boyhood took 12 years to
Yes,
make?
it's a red letter media joke, everybody.
Yeah, so was the very good. So was the very good thing. We made that joke during the Romulus episode.
Yes.
No, actually, very cool. That's what's called.
Very cool.
cool.
When the fuck did that come out?
The
giant episode?
You're
That
talking
was
about the
season-
episode where
Robot,
there's the
whatever.
dead giant. and
Yeah,
the-
on the
Yeah.
beach.
Yeah.
And then
That's-
they
that
just
is-
like talk. They just look at it and they're like,
Hats
no,
off
like-
to the
they're like-
creators.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like watching
Visually,
it decay.
I just
They
don't.
just watch it decay
Maybe I'm
and they're
just
like,
really
there's a
that-
dead giant on the beach. I wonder how it got here. And then that's the whole episode.
Yeah.
I won't take a nibble of his leg.
It's true. Don't they try to like take the bones and shit and
No,
sell
but
it?
it'd be better if they tried eating it or something.
Yeah.
I still stand fast though that Aquilus or Aquilius Rift is still my favorite episode.
Aquila Rift.
Aquila Rift
Is that the
still
farmers?
no.
No, it's
the
the
farmers
one-
episode is fucking awesome. But
the
no,
one where they're in the mechs. Is that what
yeah,
you're talking about?
yeah,
I
that's like if
love that
Pixar
Yes.
made an
Yeah.
R-rated movie, and
Yeah.
I still fucking love that. I
That
want to
one's
see a
so good.
I want to see a full movie of that.
I really enjoyed that one.
But the Aquila Rift is, or that sounds like Tequila Rift.
Yeah. Tequila Rift.
Tequila is the one when they wakes up.
When he
dude,
wakes up and he finds out.
I
that-
literally
yeah.
had to stop the fucking watching.
That one's a mind F. For
Dude,
sure.
it made me so like disturbed. It's like the first thing I had seen. Like I feel like I have a pretty high tolerance to shit like that, but for some reason the visuals mixed with the story and everything, and just the concept of the story, I was just like literally had to like collect myself for about
Yeah.
like 20, 30 minutes afterwards before I continued on. I was like,
Spoiler alert.
I could what?
No, I'm just saying it out loud.
Oh.
Well,
That
and
I-
then, I don't know. At this point, I think because this is what like episode like 5 or 6 at this
of the
point
first season.
of the first season. Like we just talk about like if you, I mean, obviously for the when we talked about
I didn't-
Ron, what?
I mean, I didn't even say the end of it, but
No, I thought I did.
oh, did you?
No.
Oh, whatever.
Well,
No,
you
whatever.
said when he wakes up, and that's kind of a spoiler
Oh.
because, but that's whatever. But what my point I was bringing up is like, besides the Romulus episode when we were like really talking about
Yeah.
it, we like spoiled
But that
we
movie
spoiled
had
the
just come out too.
yeah. It was the same day we recorded when we release days when we recorded that. But
Yeah, but
I mean,
we'll
in
see when
general,
that releases.
in general on this
The
podcast,
podcast
just expect us
episode.
to like openly talk about everything that we're talking
Spoiler.
about, just to
Yeah.
spoil it.
but that's my favorite episode of Love,
That
Death,
is a
and
good one.
Robots. That's
That
my
was- that
favorite.
was-
My
yeah.
favorite's the farmers,
the
Yeah.
action one with
the mech farmers.
Yeah, the mech farmers.
The vampire one is pretty cool too when they're in the underground.
Yeah. I like that one, and the kind of like the sister one, not the actual sister one, but the sister like companion episode with the cyber bear, the kill team kill or
Oh
something.
yeah,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
3D
when-
animated one?
Yeah,
Or
those just
mostly-
remind
the
me of like
animation's so good.
those remind me of like R-rated GI Joe sort of
Yeah.
shit. You know, it's just like what you would actually see from a fucking.
Was that first season? That was the newest season.
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
that was third.
like that was season 3.
The first season is definitely the best. That's where I like kind of liked all of them except for the giant episode.
Yeah, the first season's the most like consistent, which is ironic because there's like 18 episodes or
The one
whatever.
with the 2 robots or 3 robots going around dead humanity was okay.
Well, yeah,
I
they
thought
kind of return to them at the beginning of like each
Yeah.
season.
I liked the first one the best, and that was fine. I don't think they needed more than just that one.
Yeah, they made some dumb jokes. I was kind of like eye rolled a little.
Yeah,
Like,
the
ugh,
first one was
okay.
fine with the jokes, and then they made like another episode. And I was like, okay, it was like whatever. I don't really care.
The twist at the end's funny though. If the cats did.
Yeah,
Cats.
Yeah,
killed
that
man.
that was
can't
That
talk.
is
Yeah,
Yeah, my favorite episode, and it's typical for me because I'm like David Fincher's bitch, but it's the crab episode in season 3.
The what?
Did you see this? It's the giant mythical crab episode. Have you seen that one? It's amazing.
the one with the crab goes to the bottom of the ship.
Of the ship, like
and
it opens
They
with like
have
the
to
crab.
draw straws.
There's like a gigantic fucking crab,
Yeah.
like
Okay,
demon.
yeah.
It's like a demon
Yeah.
essentially, but it's in the form of like a crab or whatever, or it's like a creature. But it's basically like, it comes on the ship, and it like kills some people initially, and it like goes under like the hull and like kind of nests itself under the ship, and like he said, they like basically draw straws for like somebody to go down there and like try and get rid of it. And he goes down there, and one of the people that it killed earlier, it like holds it up
and can
and
speak through him.
speaks through him basically.
Do
So
you
it's
remember
like
that one?
I think so.
it's
a good one.
It was great. I loved that episode. I was like, this. If I know I kind of shit on Love, Death, and Robots, but like I want more of shit like that in
Yeah.
that show.
You know the episode that I hate the most, because we talked about this before.
We did, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's the one with the siren. I forgot what the fuck it's called.
yeah, that stupid experimental as shit episode.
Yeah.
Where
Chick dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the dude that gave me like physical motion sickness. I fucking hate that one.
I just thought
It's because of the effects itself.
The fact I
it's
just
just
don't-
kind of like it's not like
I
the
saw
design of kind of
we
is.
talked about that it had purpose in the first one that they did with the chick running
Oh
in
yeah,
the cycle.
the one
But
where
it
she
just
goes
didn't make
into
any
like
sense in that fucking one.
Yeah,
like,
and
there
the
was
one-
Oh,
in the one where she they
Yeah.
like that loop.
yeah, when she goes into like
she
the
becomes the killer at
Yeah.
the end.
yeah, and she goes into like that BDSM dungeon layer thing in the
Yeah.
middle of it. Yeah, that one it made sense, like the
Yeah.
style. But even the thing is though, like that one, like the style was more like just the animation itself.
Yeah.
In this one, it was the animation. There was like a million fucking FX overlays over.
Yeah.
Like there was
And
like
it was-
there was like film
Kind of
gate
like,
weave.
like
and-
when you first try Photoshop for the first time. You're like,
Exactly.
what does this filter do? What does this
Yeah,
filter
it just
do? What
it
does this
felt like
filter
that.
And it was just like
And then the
all
camera
over.
and the camera work is like fucking going everywhere, and like the editing's weird.
I'm sure the frame rate was crazy too.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's literally like the exposure is constantly like wiggling and changing.
Yeah.
The frame rate's constantly changing. The color
Dude, it's like
overlay
they gave a
thing is
fucking
weird
monkey
as
with
fuck.
cerebral palsy.
there's like there's weird like
I don't know if I can make
exposure.
that joke out here, but I made it anyways.
There's weird like exposure lens flare things going on in it, and two, it's just like because you can if you can like peek through all of that, you like look at what is literally there underneath all of the shit. Like it looks good. I thought like the design of everything like
Yeah.
looked good.
The story didn't need that extra
Literal
I
like
don't know what the fucking visualization of like
It didn't
the camera
add-
work or it didn't add to that
Yeah,
story
at
like
all.
at all.
it just was weird. It felt frankly to me it was like it felt like a guy in film school or that was in film school had this idea in his head and wanted to do it for a film class but didn't have the budget or the time to do it, and this show gave him that time to do it. And I don't understand it because it's like really highly rated too, and I'm like I'm with you, Sim. Like I don't get why people like it.
Yeah.
It's just
It
weird.
was like it was highly rated.
It has
but-
like an 8. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is like a 4 to me. Like, just being honest. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't like it.
No, that was my least favorite episode. But with that, what's your name again?
Steven.
And I'm Sim.
And I'm Patrick.
And we're
And we're
Wizard Core.